Hey, Screaming Geek Media here. I'm Jerry the Geek. Today we're going to be talking about the Hobbit trilogy on 4K. But before we do, if you like physical media, 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, home theater, movies in general, please check out my videos on my channel. Like and subscribe and turn your bell notifications on. So we're going to be looking at the Hobbit trilogy on 4K. And of course, as you know, it was directed by Peter Jackson. That brought us the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well. You know, the first one in this collection is An Unexpected Journey, which came out in 2012. Then the second one came out in 2013. That was The Desolation of Smaug. And then finally the third one came out the following year in 2014. And it was The Battle of the Five Armies. I decided to do the review of the whole trilogy together instead of separating them. Because, I mean, what's the odds that you're going to upgrade one and not the others? You know, if you're going to get one, you're going to get the whole set. Plus, they're not being sold individually. They were on Blu-ray, but the 4Ks, you have to buy the set. And some of the same stuff I'll be talking about, you know, pretty much everything's going to be flow from one to the other. They're all the same as far as qualities go. So I figured probably the easiest just to bunch them all up together, do the whole trilogy. Basically, it revolves mainly about the Dwarf Kingdom of Erebor and how the dragon Smaug is taking over. So they basically have been kicked out of their happy home. Years later, Gandalf comes to the Shire, picks Bilbo Baggins to join a quest with the dwarves to go back and reclaim their rightful place. And along the way, you're going to see some familiar faces from the Lord of the Rings and Legolas and whatnot. And very good movies. I'm very impressed. I'd never seen them until recently. I had the first two on Blu-ray, just never got around to watching them. So finally now with the 4K, we finally had a little marathon this weekend. Watched all three of them in one day, the extended versions. So that was 9 hours. That was a long day. The first one started out a little slow for me. I mean, you got to build the characters, but it was slow. But once it got going, it was constantly. I never thought about how long it was. It was very well done. And if you like Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth, all that shit, now I definitely recommend giving these a whirl. They're really good. Good adventures, a lot of stuff going on, good action. Now this 4K release comes from Warner Brothers. It came out in December 2020. The movies were filmed digitally and had a 2K digital intermediate, all three of them. HDR10, Dolby Vision. It was weird. I don't know if it was just me, but at the beginning of the first one, the video was, the colors were there, had some of the details. The Shire was just simply gorgeous, the landscape. When it came to inside the home of Bilbo, when everybody is gathering around, I just felt it had a soft tone to it. Almost kind of like a soap opera look. It didn't seem as detailed. And I was like, what is this? What's going on? I was expecting, 4K, I'm expecting to be blown out of the water. And it's just not cutting it. But when it comes to when he wakes up the next morning and everybody's gone, right away, when the close-up, when he's waking up, you can see the details. And from there on out, it looked phenomenal. I mean, I was so impressed with the transfers on these. Like I said, especially with the first one, you got the landscapes, they're traveling, the mountains, very well done. Some pops of color here and there. The shadows, the blacks are so well rendered in this, and even the whites. It was definitely a reference quality. And on the second one, we have, the spider scene in the forest. The spider webs and everything. The shadows, the details, everything really jumped out in this scene. It's so incredible. The atmosphere, it just sucked you right in. It's just very impressive. The rock giants when they're out on the cliffs, that was another impressive scene. And the textures of the rocks on the mountains and everything. Then with the third one, we have the details of the arrows flying through the air. Another standout moment for me was right toward the end when they go up to the... I'm terrible with the names, but when they go up to the one area where Killy they're walking through the corridors and his gold chainmail, just the detail really pops in that sucker. So impressed. Things you wouldn't expect to see when in darker scenes really shine in the 4K. So overall, the video presentations on all three of these, stunning. I can't say much more about them. But, of course, they were filmed digitally, but still they could always screw that up. But so well done. Definitely a reference quality disc to show off any system. Now for the screenshots, there will be no comparisons. This set did not include the Blu-rays. And unfortunately, I got rid of my Blu-rays when I got this. But, so we'll just take a look at some screenshots from all three of the movies. And we'll come back and we'll talk about the audio, the packaging, and everything else. So we'll see you in a couple minutes. So for audio, Warner Brothers gave us Dolby Atmos and DTS HD Master Audio 7.1. I don't have Atmos, so 7.1. I'm still listening to 5.1. Even in 5.1, the audio tracks on all three of these kick some serious ass. The clear dialogue throughout, nice subtle sounds, and some, the fight scenes and the action, everything has some really good bass. And the scene with the rock giants, the bass really kicks in, very intense. So I can't imagine what the Atmos, does with these if the 5.1 sounds that damn good. And of course, the music scores on all three of them are done by Howard Shore. He also did the Lord of the Rings. Phenomenal job with the music score. And with everything else, the movie just feels so intense when you talk about all the sound effects and the music score, everything all combined. Very impressive. I can't say anything bad about the audio in this. So for the packaging, has a slip case for the entire thing. And they stuck all the discs in one case. There are no Blu-rays, they're all 4Ks, but it's a 6-disc set. You have 2 4Ks of each movie, 1 theatrical version and 1 extended edition. And there's no bonus features on this set at all. They opted out of that. So in the end, this is a very solid release. From a technical standpoint, video and audio just will blow your mind. Reference quality on all three, definitely if you want to show off your system, I definitely recommend having this set. Like I said, as far as I know, they're not available individually, but there are other sets available. They actually have the Middle-earth set that you can get that actually does have the Blu-rays of the movies and 1 bonus disc. So I think altogether that's like a 31 disc set. But is it worth buying all that for just 1 bonus disc? And if you just want, the pure visual and audio, I just recommend, this is, I think, still selling for about 75 bucks. Definitely shop around. On eBay, you might be able to find something cheaper. If you want to find it without the digital codes, possibly you might find a good deal there. There's also some steel books available. You can find those, but I think those are pretty salty. So again, highly recommended. If you've seen this or if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend picking this up. You will not be disappointed. So that pretty much wraps up my review on the 4K release of The Hobbit. So please check out my other videos on my channel. Like and subscribe and turn your bell notifications on. And we'll see you soon. Geek out.